Friends, another important update that you have to remember when you're talking about your import procedures is when you talk about your deferred payment, where you have even e-payment being mandatory, where e-payment is mandatory. This deferred payment is now not only applicable for your authorized economic operators tier 2 as well as tier 3, but also it is applicable for authorized public sector undertakings, government controlled companies, public sector undertakings. So now the facility of deferred payment rules, where you are talking about payment on fortnightly basis for all the bill of entries filed from 1st of a month to 15th of a month, it is 16th that you have to make the payment, and for all the bill of entries filed from 16th of a month to end of the month, it is first of the next month. Exception being when you talk about March, it is 16th to 31st of March. Instead of making the payment on 1st of April, you have to make the payment on 31st of March itself. Now this deferred payment rules, where e-payment is mandatory. So when you talk about e-payment being mandatory, it is in two cases. One, for those people who are going to take the benefit of deferred payment rules, that is your authorized economic operators tier 2 as well as tier 3, as well as when you're talking about your authorized public sector undertakings. Now e-payment is also mandatory for other people, but when the payment is more than or equal to 10,000 per that bill of entry. So these two people, obviously there will be e-payment. For others, if amount per bill of entry, the duty that you have to pay per bill of entry is more than or equal to 10,000, you have to make e-payment. So that, friends, you have to understand. Now friends, another important point that you have is faceless assessment when you're talking about your basically import bill of entries. This basically is out of a program. When you talk about faceless assessment, it is a new concept. Now when you talk about this new concept, why CBIC has brought this new concept, we'll discuss, and what are the advantages, we'll discuss, and what is the history or journey towards faceless assessment also we'll discuss. Now friends, when you talk about this faceless assessment, CBIC has implemented this faceless assessment concept through Turant Customs. This Turant is a Hindi word. Turant, immediately. Turant means immediate. Hindi word which means immediate. Fatafat, Turant. So when you talk about this Turant Customs, CBIC has thought that okay, we have to bring great reforms when you talk about import and export. So they brought out Turant Customs as a program, and which is strongly enabled by a technology. Now Turant Customs is the objective of Turant Customs is to make sure that there is ease of doing business, right? So why CBIC has brought this Turant Customs? For one of the simple reasons that there should be ease of doing business, and this Turant Customs is fully technology based, tech based. Now the three pillars of this concept, that is Turant systems, how this Turant Customs is going to stand. It is going to stand on three strong pillars, that is faceless, contactless and paperless. So through this Turant Customs initiative, the workings will be faceless as well as contactless as well as paperless, right? Now through this, one of the component, see, Turant Customs has got various initiatives. One of the initiative here is your faceless assessment, right? Now what will happen, because when you're talking about Turant Customs, which means immediate customs, there will be faster and cheaper clearance of imported goods. Quickly the goods will be cleared one after other. So if you want to understand what CBIC is, and CBIC thought that okay, let us bring a new program for customs. They called it as Turant Customs. The objective of this Turant Customs was ease of doing business, and it is fully tech based, and it stands on three pillars, which is your faceless, contactless and paperless. The result of it will be, you'll have all the imported goods cleared very quickly, very fastly and at a cheaper prices. Now one of the component of Turant Customs has got lot of components, or has got lot of programs. One of the program of Turant Customs is faceless assessment. So faceless assessment is one of the component of Turant Customs program. Turant Customs, one of the component, not the only area, one of the component of Turant Customs where CBIC is thinking that let us bring this ease of doing business. One of the initiative is faceless assessment, which has been phased out throughout India, and it has come out in phases as on 31st October 2020. Now it is implemented across India. Right. Now, what will happen in Turant Customs? I'll just give an outline so that you can easily understand all the other points. What is the initiative? They're thinking that when you're talking about your bill of entry being processed, what used to happen earlier? This assessment of bill of entry, or this checking, assessment is nothing but basically checking of bill of entry. Earlier, long back, it was all physical checking by the proper officer, whether documentation is proper or not. If required, they'll open the goods and check the goods, etc., etc. So it was a two-layered check. One is document check, and one is goods checking, right? So appraising officer usually does the documents check, and doc officer usually does the goods checking. So it was all, each of the import was actually physically verified, physically checked. Then later on they thought that okay, things are becoming bit tricky. Then with the advancement of your computers, right, technology, they thought that let us make sure that we are not going in the age-old methodology. We will go away with the physical documentation verification and we'll go towards automation. So that was the second step. Second initiative was going towards automation, and as an advancement of automation, next step they went to this risk management system. So first was physical checking, then was automation, then advanced level of automation was risk management system. We call it as risk management system. We have been discussing about this RMS here and there. Risk management system, automatically system will select the data which requires scrutiny, which means that there are certain risk parameters set in the system. If the documentation are within the risk parameters, it will be cleared, and if it is not within the risk parameters, it will be taken for further scrutiny. So the third stage was we are talking about advanced level of automation, where they went with risk management system. Right, thereafter in 2012 there was a path-breaking change in customs, where they shifted from each and every assessment by officer to self-assessment concept. They thought that okay, because initially it was customs was one of the tax law where it was all assessment by the officer, no self-assessment concept. They don't trust you. So what they do is to do each and every import documentation was physically checked. Then next level was automation. The third level was further automation, where you're talking about risk management system. Then they thought that okay, let us not invest so much time, let us not invest so much manpower. Let us go to the next step, where we will open this self-assessment concept, which means whatever importers or exporters used to declare, officer used to accept it, and with the help of risk management system, if at all it is within the risk parameters, please go ahead. Importers and exporters are not at all stopped. The goods used to get cleared very soon. And if the system was showing an error, which means if it is not within the risk parameters of risk management system, and message was popped up, and further scrutiny of those imported goods or export goods was done. So actually RMS and self-assessment were coming side by side. The moment RMS was self-sufficient, they introduced the concept of your self-assessment. Now the last stage here we are talking about is with further digitalization, where we are into the world of technology, where everything is happening through tech. Rather, even this classes is based on your technology, right? So when you see very advanced level of technology, they thought that why should we have disparities in assessment? Supposing an import is being done in Mumbai, and the same item is being imported in say Chennai, the process of assessment by two different officers will be very different. It is highly subjective. Let me give let me give you an example. See, whenever you talk about persons being involved, supposing you are involved in evaluating a paper, friends, you have to understand that it is highly subjective. If you write if one of your friend is writing an exam paper, and if you correct it and if I correct it, for sure mark allocation will not be the same. There will be variation, maybe 1 mark variation or 2 mark variation. That is called as subjectivity. Now the same subjectivity is also involved, because most of the work was done by RMS. So those bill of entries which are facilitated by RMS, they are called as facilitated bill of entries, means RMS risk management system tells that okay, green signal, you can go ahead. Those bill of entries no one has got out. But those bill of entries which are not facilitated by RMS, which means RMS tells that it is beyond the risk, so someone needs to physically verify the documents as well as goods. Then the persons come into picture. So post system, persons will come into picture if RMS risk management system tells that further verification or scrutiny needs to be done. Now when further verification scrutiny is done by Mumbai customs officer as well as Chennai customs officer, you cannot expect the same type of assessment. It is highly subjective. Whenever persons are involved, it becomes subjective. Right? That is the reason, one of the reason why you have MCQs. Right? MCQs are objective. Anyone corrects it, it will be the same markings. But when you talk about your balance 70%, 30% is MCQs, balance 70%, if you correct a paper and if I correct a paper, there will be a variation, subjectivity. That variation may be huge or less, that depends. Now, they thought that there is disparities in assessment. Why? If it is going through RMS and if RMS is not throwing any risk parameters, it is telling that it is a facilitated bill of entry, means everything is within the risk parameters, no issues. But if it is non-facilitated bill of entry, then proper officers comes into picture, which will lead to disparities in assessment due to interpretation issues. Right? Mumbai officer may tell that the classification done is not right, but whereas Chennai officer may tell that everything is fine, take it. The same goods imported by the same person from the same country, one at Mumbai port, one at Chennai port, assessment may vary, assessment may hugely vary. And also at times, see, when you have a black dot mark, when your company is say blacklisted, or when the officer is having some sort of grudge against your company. Last time when the goods were cleared, your company's manager said something to the officer which is not liking. So there is a concept of subjectivity. So assessment will keep on varying. Everything will be pakka right. All the documentation will be pakka correct. But still, your customs officer may not allow the goods to be cleared smoothly. He will cause some trouble. Now that being the case, they thought of, let us bring into the concept of faceless assessment. Now what will happen in faceless assessment? Whether the goods are imported at Mumbai or at Chennai, neither the Mumbai officer is going to do the assessment nor the Chennai officer is going to do the assessment. Now these officers, these customs officers, jurisdictional customs officers do not have the power to do the assessment. Now the assessment will be done by a dedicated team, which is a common team across India, dedicated team. Right, dedicated team may be sitting in Delhi. So whether the goods are imported at Mumbai port or whether the goods are imported at Chennai port, both these cases, supposing the RMS is throwing an error, risk management system tells that it is not within the risk parameters, further verification needs to be done, which means it is a non-facilitated bill of entry. Neither the Mumbai officer will do the assessment nor the Chennai officer will do the assessment. It will be taken care by your Delhi officer. There is a team which will be taking care of this faceless assessment. Now what will happen? What are the advantages? Anonymity. I mean, these people, if at all you are talking with the customs officer at Mumbai or Chennai, you may influence him or he may not like you, both. If you influence him, it will be in your favor, or if he is not influenced or if he is having some grudge against you, he may cause some trouble. Now that is all avoided because it will be done by an officer which you are not aware of. So few advantages rather of your faceless assessment will be anonymity. Neither the importer will know the officer who is going to do the assessment because it is done by an officer sitting in Delhi, nor the officer will know who is the managing director. He will know which company and all, who is the director. So that will create anonymity. Now the moment there is an anonymity, importer, if he wants to clear his goods, he may physically go and meet the Mumbai officer or physically go and meet the Chennai officer. But now this will not happen when some officer sitting in Delhi which you are not aware of, which you are not even aware of, is doing this assessment. That is anonymity, which will have reduced interface, physical interaction between the customs and the trade. So physical interaction between the owner, that is trade, as well as the customs officer will be reduced because of anonymity. Now next advantage is uniformity. Very high uniformity. Why very high uniformity? Because whether the goods are imported at Mumbai or at Chennai, assessment is done by a dedicated team for faceless assessment. Right? It may go to the same officer, or it is obviously going to go to the same team. right? Dedicated, they have been taught in the same mind thought process, same process they have been taught. So there will be greater uniformity. I am not trying to tell that it will be always same, but chances of being uniform is very, very, very high uniformity, right? So that will be that. Next, very, very speedier, clearances. Why speedy clearances will be there? Understand that now these Mumbai offices and Chennai offices can do their groundwork efficiently. They need not do assessment. They have only basic groundwork. Assessment will be carried out by someone sitting in Delhi or sitting in Noida or sitting in, say, Pune, somewhere else, right? By faceless assessment team. Now that will enable Mumbai offices as well as customs officers to focus on their work and speedily clear the goods, as well as those dedicated team who are there in faceless assessment. They have only work which is faceless assessment. So they will also clear the goods, they will also clear the assessment very clearly. So it will result into speedier clearances because manpower will be efficiently utilized, effective manpower utilization or efficient manpower utilization. So all the manpower will be efficiently utilized, that will lead to speedier clearances. Now one more advantage is there can be sector specific and functional specification in the assessment, which means supposing the import is of automobiles, faceless assessment team, one of the faceless assessment team can deal only with assessment of automobile sector. Say import of another item, say toys, one of the faceless assessment team can do faceless assessment only of toy sector. Say import is of textile materials, one of the faceless assessment team dedicatedly can do faceless assessment only in relation to textile sector. So that will also result in something called as expertise, right? So uniformity will be there. First of all, the first advantage is anonymity, which means that there is no direct contact between the trade and customs. Uniformity, because only faceless assessment teams will be doing that work. Greater uniformity. Speedier customs clearances. The reason being, why there are speedier customs clearances? Efficient utilization of manpower. The Mumbai officer and the Chennai officer will not do any other work because they cannot do assessment now. What will happen? If at all you're talking about a scenario where RMS is not accepting or the bill of entry is beyond the permissible risk limits of risk management system, that is non-facilitated bill of entry, it will be faceless assessment which will be done by faceless assessment team sitting somewhere in Delhi or Pune or some other place, right? But the advantage is it will have anonymity, it will have uniformity, it will have speedier clearances, as well as there can be sector specific and functional specialization in assessment, which means each faceless assessment team can focus on 2 or more sectors, say 2 or 3 sectors, one sector, another faceless assessment team, another 2 sectors. Now that will result in expertise. The moment this happens, friends, lot of issues, lot of pending cases, the cases that goes to your commissioner appeals or tribunal or high court, supreme court, all these issues will be reduced. See, not only these there are a lot of these are direct advantages. If I list the indirect advantages, the list is huge. One of the indirect advantages which is very, 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 very important is that will lead to clear-cut understanding or clear-cut classification. Because when classification issues are in Mumbai and Chennai, before going to Supreme Court, the case will be there in Mumbai High Court and Madras High Court. Mumbai High Court may give a separate answer, Madras High Court may give a separate answer. Now when it is done by faceless assessment scheme, all these disputes will also be avoided, which means case laws will be less. Number of cases where the disputes are there, disputes will be there even after faceless assessment, but it will drastically reduced. The moment it is drastically reduced, it will result in lesser cost for the industry, even lesser cost for the department. You have to understand that when there is a dispute, in the dispute between assessee and department, even cost is involved of department, if not in monetary terms, but in manpower terms. So these are all indirect advantages. Now friends, these are the steps. I think you have got this entire steps. It came in 5 stages. First was a stage where you are talking about physical verification. Next was a stage where you are talking about some automation because of introduction of computers. Next was a stage where you are talking about a robust digital risk management system. If it is within the risk parameters, the bill of entry is called as facilitated bill of entry. If it is beyond the risk parameters, it is called as non-facilitated bill of entry. Then it was followed by your self-assessment. So RMS and self-assessment were actually very closely coming. The moment RMS was successful, immediately they implemented self-assessment. And finally, we are talking about your faceless assessment. If whatever points you see here, all these are the advantages that we have already covered. Advantages of the objectives that we have already covered. Now, what exactly is faceless assessment? Rather, we have discussed with the help of example of Mumbai Customs Officer and Chennai Customs Officer. The same thing is given here. Let us go through it. Faceless assessment is a major customs reform by one of the component of a bigger program called as Turant Customs, which focuses on ease of doing business, where bill of entry which is identified for scrutiny. Now friends, which bill of entry will be identified for scrutiny? Only a non-facilitated bill of entry. Now friends, what is non-facilitated bill of entry? If a bill of entry is filed, if at all you are talking about a scenario where importer is filing a bill of entry, if the bill of entry is filed by the importer and if it is within the risk parameters, if it is within the risk parameters of risk management system, or if it is not within the risk parameters which is set by risk management system, if it is within the risk parameters of risk management system, it is called as a facilitated bill of entry. No further scrutiny will be done. Clearance, direct clearance. Now, if it is not within the risk parameters of risk management system, it is called as non-facilitated bill of entry. Non-facilitated bill of entry, where friends you require further scrutiny. You require further scrutiny. Now, scrutiny or assessment. Now, when you talk about further scrutiny, Mumbai officer and Chennai officer, if the goods were imported in Mumbai and Chennai respectively, used to do further scrutiny. Respective jurisdictional officer used to do further scrutiny. Now, this further scrutiny, supposing let us take a case where one of the importers is happening in Mumbai and one of the importers is happening in Chennai. So, one of the importers happening in Mumbai and same type of goods, another import is happening in Chennai. Right. And let us assume that in both the cases the bill of entry is non-facilitated bill of entry, which means it requires scrutiny. Non-facilitated bill of entry. Now this Mumbai Customs Officer or this Chennai Customs Officer will not do the scrutiny. It is very clear. The moment I tell that non-facilitated bill of entry, it clearly means that it requires scrutiny. It requires scrutiny or assessment. It clearly means that it requires scrutiny or it requires assessment. Now that will be done by a dedicated team, and that is the reason you have something called as faceless assessment. Right, the jurisdictional officer, the port officers are different. The port officers are Mumbai or Chennai respectively, but the faceless assessment will be done by a faceless assessment team which has got nothing to do with the jurisdictional officer. Right. Now, what is said? If at all a bill of entry is not within the risk parameters, which means it is selected for scrutiny or assessment, then it will be assigned to an officer who is physically located at customs station but not being port of import in the customs automated system, which means that it will be assigned to a faceless assessment team officer, not being the customs officer, jurisdictional officer or the Chennai jurisdictional officer. So what is given here? It will be assigned to officer who is not there neither in Chennai nor in Mumbai. He is there somewhere which is not the port of import, which is neither Chennai nor Mumbai. Now, this can be called as virtual assessment. It can be otherwise called as your virtual assessment or anonymized assessment because of your technology. This separates the customs assessment process from the physical location of the customs officer at the port of arrival, which means in simple language, there are two officers. The one sitting in Mumbai or Chennai is a separate customs officer. That officer is different from one who is doing assessment. So it separates the customs assessment process with the physical location of officer at the port of clearance, at the port of arrival or port of import. So that will also result in uniformity. All the advantages of uniformity will be there, speedier clearance will be there, anonymity will be there, there will be no reduced bribes. A lot of other advantages are there. So bribe corruption will also reduce, efficient manpower utilization will be there. Also specialization can be there, sector specialization can be there when you talk about each of the faceless assessment teams. Right. Now this will also ensure that The assessment which is done is objective, free, fair and just. I was trying to explain this for a long time. When I said there will be no bribe or corruption, understand that the officer is doing an assessment, who's doing assessment is not aware anything of you. So it is purely objective. There is no subjective. Subjectivity is removed. The entire objective of faceless assessment is remove the subjectivity. Mumbai officer may do in one manner, customs Chennai officer may do in another manner. So they don't want the subjectivity. So it will be very objective plus free, fair and just. Which means that if the Mumbai officer had a grudge against the company who was importing the goods, and the Chennai officer did not have any grudge and he is ready to mingle with the company, though they have given the wrong details. So things will differ. Mumbai officer will make sure that the life of the company who has imported the goods at Mumbai will be very, very difficult, and they may end up paying huge amount either in form of taxes or in form of paying the amount to the Mumbai officer. Whereas Chennai officer, clearance of goods will be there. There may be government loss. He may earn something, but there may be government loss. So they wanted this to avoid. So these are the objectives that is given here. Other objectives at times you have to interpret it. So when they have written free, fair and just, the understanding is they do not want to give unwanted powers or unwanted subjectivity concept when you talk about your Mumbai customs officer as well as Chennai customs officer. And from the importer point of view, importer need not worry. So is there any change in process that importer has to do? No, importer will continue to file online bill of entry. So when you talk about importer's perspective, there are no changes in filing of a bill of entry. He will still continue to file his all the documentation including bill of entry, other documentation on customs IceGate. Indian Customs Electronic Data Interchange Gateway. Customs IceGate. I mean customs portal is called as IceGate. Customs portal is called as IceGate. Indian Customs Electronic Data Interface. Indian I Customs C E Electronic Data Interchange Gateway. GATE Gateway. Right. So customs portal. So from importer's point of view, there is no change. The changes is happening at the back end when you talk about assessment from officer's point of view. Friends, that is all about your faceless assessment. I think this example that Mumbai officer and customs officer that we have taken again and again will ensure that you understand this picture very clearly. They want to remove the subjectivity which was there in the assessment so that things are neat and simple and clear, free, fair, just, as well as objectivity is incorporated in the assessment. That is all about your faceless assessment.